Hello scrappers and planet lovers, Tin Man here with another video. So I was asked a few questions from a beginner scrapper about various appliances, and one of their questions was about coffee makers. Are they worth opening and separating the materials, or should they just bring them in as is and get appliance weight price? Currently right now in London, Ontario, appliance weight price is about 5 cents a pound. This Braun coffee maker here weighs 7 pounds, so 35 cents for this as is. This Nespresso here weighs 4 pounds, so 20 cents for that from doing nothing. And what I want to do for this video is open both of them. They are very easy to do. There is a lot of plastic on it, but want to show you the material to help you decide if it's worth it for yourself, or if at least taking some of the items and leaving the rest. The nice thing about these items is once I remove a few of the goodies, I could still close it back up and get the remainder price as appliance weight price. So going to be 100% scrappable, so that is great. Before I do so, however, I do want to take this opportunity to send out a huge shout out to Mr. Hogevorst's grade 6-7 class at St. John Fisher, the school that I currently am at. They are undertaking an assignment on taking apart appliances and electronics, looking at the components of it, looking at trying to separate the metals, natural resources, as well as looking at a little bit of environmental science. So shout out again, Mr. Hogevorst's class. Hope you enjoy this video as well as the shout out. So thank you again for all the support from you guys. But gonna look at these right now, help those fellow scrappers decide on their own if they're worth taking it apart, identifying the material, trying to separate it properly, and more importantly, maximize your profit and divert as much of this away from the landfill as possible. So I'm gonna start with this Braun here coffee maker. The nice thing about all coffee makers is because most households have them, you can find them often. I don't find as many Nespressos, but I do find a lot of Brauns, Tassimos before they stop making them, as well as Keurigs. So this right here, very easy, and for the sake of time, I have gone ahead and removed the screws on the side panel. So this is just going to lift up. Again, I will just close this back up once I remove the items. But the first item of most value here is going to be the appliance wire here. So just going to actually finish taking off the few screws. And the thing about these coffee makers is you are going to need a set of security screws. This is just called a security L-key set. Very inexpensive. This was $10, Mastercraft, Canadian Tire. And I actually use this a lot. Microwaves, as well as a lot of electronics. They do have bolts on these that have a small little nub in the middle. Safety reasons, they don't want people handling it, going inside, and potentially hurting themselves. So I did have to have a set of these, and I often talk about these. I do use them quite often. So just gonna actually open this up. And the nice thing about these tools is not only do they act as a type of security, they can also be used just as a regular set for Allen bolts. There are a lot of those as well. So just gonna open this, pull this out, and this wire right here, gonna get as much as I can. I will go further down later, but this wire at a scrapyard is currently going as 40% appliance wire. You can see there are 3 coated strands of copper wire, as well as an outer coating of plastic. And this right now, currently in London, Ontario, is going for $1.60 a pound. This is pretty close to a pound. These types of wires you are going to find on dehumidifiers, microwaves, vacuum cleaners as well. All of those wires are your 40% appliance wire. And I will include in my comment section full weights of all these items. So this in itself is going to be worth more money than this entire machine as is. So a lot of times you will see scrappers pull off just the cord and leave the rest. But again, because this is going to be 100% scrappable, I'll take the whole thing. But again, 40% appliance wire. The other one does also have a cord. It is smaller, and this cord is actually going to be a little bit different. As you can see inside of it, there is 2 strands of copper wire, only 1 coating of plastic. And unfortunately now, because of prices of copper have gone up, This is, in previous videos, I have said this is upgraded to 60% by taking off just the plug end. Unfortunately, my recent visit to the scrapyard, they did not give me the 60%. They said because of prices, all of Romex, for example, that is what they were classifying as the 60%. So this is going to be 40% as well. But again, it does have only one coating of plastic, as well as, you know, the plug ends. So I do not have to remove these plug ends. However, I do put this piece of brass in my brass pile. Currently, this brass is coated brass. It is going for $3.21 a pound. Some people leave them on for the weight. In my opinion, it is worth taking apart. I have a nice big yogurt container building up quickly just from brass prong ends. So again, I have had some people say it's not worth it. In my opinion, long term, it does add up. So again, some nice brass there. On the sides here, there are a few little pieces of circuit board that you see here. There is also right there, and I'm just gonna actually pull this out because I can. This is gonna be a nice piece of aluminum. This is one of your aluminum heat sinks. And this is actually an example of aluminum extrusion. Extrusion is the highest form of aluminum that we have. And I'm just gonna actually pull this off. I'm gonna break this off, and that's okay. But I'm just gonna turn it, cut it, just so I can bring it up to the camera. Okay, so this is the first thing I want to look at here. And currently right now, this right here, any type of aluminum that looks like it's been put through a mold or a press is extrusion. This is painted extrusion, and currently this is going for $1.08 a pound for this piece of aluminum. If it was metallic looking, it would be clean aluminum, and it's about 2 cents more. This circuit board also has a few MOSFETs that you see right here. As you can see, if I turn it to the camera, it does have a copper top to it. Some of them are actually all plastic. Some of them have a metallic look, but these are all going to be number 2 copper as well. So number 2 copper currently going for $4.69 a pound. What's interesting about this circuit board too is if I turn it, you can see right there, those are gold-plated prongs. So I do actually remove these off. I have a nice vial of gold-plated prongs. So it is not solid gold, but with the price of gold, I do put it in a container. There are certain scrapyards that will take circuit boards with gold at a higher price. Some scrapyards, like the one in Sarnia, regardless of what's on the circuit board, they will give you e-waste price, and it's only about 6 to 7 cents a pound. So you do want to shop around when it comes to circuit boards. Some scrapyards will give you high grade, medium grade, low grade, and this, because of the gold content on it, would be a high grade. And in London, Ontario, I could actually get 45 cents a pound for this one to anywhere between $2 and 25 cents. All of your hard drive circuit boards that have the gold-plated ribbons on the side, they were paying $2.25 a pound for those. So I do have a separate video showing you how to separate your gold-plated circuit boards, and I will include the link in my description. It also does have right here a nice transformer. This is going to have some nice copper inside. I am going to have to break this with a hammer, and I might just give it a couple whacks just to show you. But inside of these transformers, there is going to be some nice copper, and that copper is worth removing. The nice thing about transformers is they are their own category to scrapyard. I can get about 25 cents to 30 cents a pound for this as is. But the nice thing, getting that copper, once I remove that copper, the rest of that shell is going to be tin, and I will still get money from the tin. So 100% scrappable, but way better price taking the time to separate it. So I'm going to show you. Okay, so this one is a little bit of work. You can see right there the metallic shell. That is tin. Inside there is going to be brass. So I will go ahead and remove that off camera. Not all of them are going to have a plastic coating on them. So some of them you will see, for example, just like this. This is a good example from a different appliance. Some of them you will see that are, if I have another one here, smaller transformers somewhere around in my pile. But they do add up nice. Oh, there we go. Okay. So here's a nice bin of transformers that I've been collecting. So a lot of times you will just have them like that. Nice spool of copper that you can see inside of there. So that is number 2 copper and a great value for sure. And the nice thing about this is once I remove the circuit board or the transformer, the aluminum, the gold, the MOSFET, I can still bring the rest of this in as is and get electronic weight price. And if you are into micro scrapping, there are other items like these little ceramic capacitors. I do have full breakdowns separating these items if you're into it. There are places like boardsort.com that will buy these, as well as other people that refine these precious metals like the gold. You can sell containers of gold pins online for people as well. The rest of this is a lot of plastic. There are a lot of tubes. This wire here, this is my low grade wire. I do not put this with my appliance wire. This is going to be low grade. I get about 35 to 45 cents a pound for this. So you do want to make sure you separate it from your appliance wire. You will get downgraded if you put it with your appliance wire because of the plastic. On this side, I love this side too. It has a nice container here. If I put a magnet to this, it is non-magnetic. So this is a small little container or reservoir that is stainless steel. And I have had several questions from beginner scrappers. How do I tell the difference between aluminum and stainless steel? And for me, the most conclusive test is the spark test. If I hit this with a grinder and it sparks, it's going to be stainless steel. If it is non-magnetic and I hit it with a grinder and it doesn't spark, it's going to be aluminum. So stainless steel, non-magnetic, going for 77 cents a pound. If it was aluminum, 45 cents a pound. So I do have right here my grinder set up. Just going to show you. So very easy to tell that. So that is going to be non-magnetic stainless steel. I am going to have, in order to get that clean value, I do have to remove this magnetic strip here. There is some tin on it. On the top as well, there is going to be a few coils, so I will have to cut that off. Some of them, if it is impossible to cut off there, I could just throw it into dirty stainless. I get probably about 30 cents a pound. Or if it is tin all the way through, just throw it right into your tin. But I hope that answers that question, the difference between aluminum and stainless steel. Using that spark test, it will definitely, hopefully, alleviate a lot of problems. Underneath here, there is a few small little motors, as well as a few little contacts. These little pouches here, I am going to remove one for this video. There is a little bit of silver in these as well. These are little contact switches. I don't want to pull this out completely because it is probably going to have a little bit of water inside. But there is also a motor. Just going to see if I can get the motor down below here. There is a small motor that I will have to get out later. It's right down in there. And what it appears to be, I have one off camera. Just going to show it. Going to be right back. If I can find it. There we go. Sure, I won't be able to find one right now. Oh, there we go. I have one. Sorry. There it is. I should have thought about that, but this is what it's going to look like. These are kind of like your same motors that you find on washing machines. It does have right inside of here a small little bit of copper. There's not much in there, but these can be opened relatively easily and quickly just using a saw. This is just plastic coating. Some of them do have just a tape on them. You do have to, obviously, in order to get that copper and cut through with a saw, remove this tin part to it. But that is what's going to be inside of that. Or it could just be a very small little copper motor. They're very, very tiny. You can get those as well. And I do also have a small collection of those. So it's going to be something like this. These types of motors, I don't bother opening them. I will leave them as copper-bearing motors. Get about 25 cents a pound for them. So better than nothing, but in my opinion, not worth opening just to get that small spool of copper. So there is a little one of those in there. The rest of this machine, I am, as mentioned, just going to probably leave it. Even that motor inside of it, probably just going to take this piece of stainless off. Get that motor, but I'm going to leave a lot of these different wires on here, as well as the little bit of wire in there, and just get the rest of this as e-waste price. There is nothing inside of here, again, so a lot of plastic, a little bit of tin on the spring, but I'm going to leave it. little bit of, again, some more gold. I will take that circuit board off. So there we go. Look at that. Another piece of gold plated prongs there from a circuit board. So I will pull that off. But other than that, not much to this. Your wire is going to be your money maker. Your aluminum from that, again, going to be $1.10 a pound. There's not a pound on that. The other nice thing about all aluminum heat sinks is they do have the MOSFETs as well. So again, some more number 2 copper there and a little bit of gold. This Nespresso, again, do not find a lot of these, but it too had the 2 little screws in the bottom. Pulled them off. The top comes off. There you can see very little inside of this, 4 pounds. There is a small tube here, so I am just gonna open this one just for safety. Just gonna put some safety glass on, but just for learning purposes, just gonna pull a little bit off here for you, see if I can pry this up to see what's inside. It may not even be worth just my time just doing this, but this is for educational video purposes. Putting on my safety glasses, trying to pry this up. So tons of plastic on here. Again, trying to get to this. There is going to be maybe a little bit of smashing with a hammer. So in that case, I'm actually probably right there is a little bit of metallic look. So if I put a magnet to that, it is, again, a little bit of stainless steel. But in my opinion, this isn't even going to be worth opening. I'm just, like I said, curious because I don't come across these a lot. I'm glad that I got my wire out of it. But these, for sure, there is a few goodies in here. The stainless steel pipe there. Once I remove that out of there and clean off the little tin clamps to that, gonna make my 77 cents a pound for that. Get the gold off those circuit boards, as well as your appliance wire. That really is your money maker. So at least I'm able to divert all of this away from the landfill, put this plastic shell back on here. But again, these do have a small little, there it is right there, if I can pull it up to the camera. I do have to break this part off, but there is a little motor that you see there. But in my opinion, again, getting 25 cents a pound for those, and this only being 4 pounds, I'm not getting much from this. This maybe weighs 3 or 4 ounces. So not worth my time or effort, but did want to look to see what was in. Again, thank you, Mr. Hogevorst's class. Hope you're enjoying your teardowns of your equipment. Again, great to see young future scrappers probably, as well as environmentalists looking at what's inside of items, trying to help reclaim our natural resources and help raise awareness to environmental issues. So thank you again, ladies and gentlemen from St. John Fisher. Thank you all for watching. Continue with the questions. I will get back to you as quick as I can. I love working with this whole scrapping community, not only helping fellow scrappers monetarily, but more important, environmentally, as well as, you know, working together to try and make different processes easier, as well as looking at certain items if they're worth opening or not. So again, thank you very much for watching. Please comment down below, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Tin Man out.